removing the addictive substance is one of the the first things one has to do, which unfortunately I don't think George Bush has actually contemplated. Of course, some people come to the transition town movement out of an overwhelming interest in climate change and averting climate change, mitigating climate change. Other people come to this more out of an interest in peak oil. Others come out of an interest in averting other kinds of environmental pollution from fossil fuels and so on. It doesn't matter. We're all coming essentially to the same conclusion, which is that we have to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels as a society, and that means relocalizing our economies and becoming functional communities once again.
So what we're going to do is gather some of your questions. Sabina's just coming up. She's going to, if there's any lists of contact addresses that haven't been passed in, could you please pass them on to her? Great. So, what do people want to find out about? What are your burning questions about transition towns, about this process? Does anybody want to know anything? Contracted.
V8 races.
Oh yeah. V8 races. I think there's something about that that's when you.
I'm sure they didn't hear
Okay.
that.
Her council has contracted to host V8 motor car races in their town for what?
10 years.
For the next 10 years. There's something about when you get to the end of something that you want to use it up even more quickly. I don't know what that's about, but I'm sure there's a psychology in that. So, what is your question around that?
Well, my question is it's going to be really difficult to sway people at Hamilton to look at transition, getting the concepts across and the light effect
I think that. Okay, good. Yeah. So what is the question? The question is how do we address the absurdity of the actions of our guiding and governing bodies? Okay. So how do we educate our governing bodies? Perhaps is that? I mean, because if they were educated, then they presumably wouldn't do that, right?
Yes. Well, I think my question follows.
Why don't we stand? Let's stand up and.
My name's John, and I've been trying to fight pessimism. But anyway, my question is how do you deal with doubters? In this business of trying to. Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3. So the idea, the concept of transition is something we should encourage, and we do this by building, say, grassroots. This is what you've said today. But and we might do that by having meetings or giving people the opportunity to listen to what we believe in, or talking to individuals. And I find that even amongst my friends, they're divided into sort of what I found 3 groups. There's the people that don't believe, they just don't understand or don't believe in peak oil. There's those who actually believe in it and they just go, bring it on, because they sort of think this will be a challenge and they will deal with it. And then there's those who sort of maybe a bit anti this sort of vaguely was this kind of stinks of socialism, maybe what you're saying, or something like that. So my question is this: how do people deal with those doubts, or do we just talk to people who already understand this, and then hope that someone's hearing what we're saying in the background?
how do we deal with the doubters and non-believers?
Okay.
My name is Betsy. I'm wondering, I'd like to hear about communities in New Zealand that have already started this process and how they've gone about jointly creating a community vision.
G'day, I'm Andrew. I guess my question is, what's the best way to start? And to elaborate on that, just in this video presentation we just got seen, we saw he was talking about how we have to change the psychology. And so my understanding of the first way that started was through massive showing of videos and so forth, and yet that is the paint the negative picture psychology. And I'm just wondering if out of the first meeting of the 35, whether there were other strategies of the best way to start a transition town, how to raise awareness with the idea of painting the rosy picture of what a future transition town might hold.
I think a nice eye-opening experience would be to spend incremental 24 hours in a power cut. We had one recently, and it's amazing. First, the power fails, well, that's the right cable up. Then the water pressure drops away because the waste station called the water plant to please not inject any more water in the waste station because the waste station was down. So the water pressure was off, at which stage people started to carry buckets of water from the creek to flush the toilet. The gas station couldn't pump any fuel anymore, people couldn't go to Thames to buy food. The local food was not selling too well either, the freezers were off and stuff was turned out. So within 24 hours, everybody there was very, very aware of how incredibly dependent we are on the current infrastructure. And that experience was quite eye-opening to many people in our town. So I think a voluntary power cut for 24 or maybe 48 hours, sort of rolling one town at a time in New Zealand would probably educate just about anybody. There would be a good thing. The question is, how do you do that? Maybe just the voluntary people experience for councillors.
Series of
Hi, I'm Jo Dudley from the Environment Centre in Hastings, and my question is, given that this is a grassroots movement, that usually means that people don't have any funding for this sort of thing. We're very well aware of that in the Environment Centre. And so we solve that ourselves at the moment through creativity mostly, and I think that's what this movement needs. And my question is, how can we use mass media, which is what gets to most people, but infiltrate it in a way which is free for us? And at our first Transition Towns meeting, somebody came up with using the TUI notice boards, the advert boards. For example, oil will never run out. Yeah, right.
Real quick one is timeline. The question is when. Okay, that's not very good. How long have we got of that? General feeling is that we've already run out of time, so we'll make the best of what we've got there.